It's the Daily Doug.
Hey y'all, welcome back to the Daily Doug. Thanks for being with me today. Okay, on today's episode, friends, it always seems like I am late to the party. Rarely do I get invited to the party when it starts. I have started to receive missive after email after text after carrier pigeon. Y'all are writing to me about this band called Angine de Poitrine, and I see that very many of the reactors on YouTube have been on this band, some for a decent amount of time. I have not yet included them on the channel. Today is the day. I hear your emails. I read your emails. I'm fascinated by what we're going to hear today, my friends. So it seems like an overnight success for this duo. They formed in 2019, but they'd been playing together previously to that. They are a duo from Canada, Eastern Canada, the Quebec province. They've released 2 full albums. Volume 1, 2024, and Volume 2 is scheduled for release, I believe, just next month in April of 2026. They've also released a few singles. They really first popped up on my radar a few weeks ago when I saw that Rick Beato, our friend Rick, had done a video based on this band. And I still haven't watched Rick's video, but it got them on my radar. Okay. And then a few days later, some in our Patreon community spoke up about this band. And then we ended up listening to Sarniezz. I think that's how it's pronounced. Sarniezz. Sarniezz. That's how I'm going to say it. That performance from their live session in France that was recorded for an American radio station in Seattle, actually. And when that full video of their performance dropped last month on YouTube, people started going nuts for it. It's already got over 5 million views in just a month, y'all. And so I have seen this band doing their thing. We listened and watched as a Patreon community just last weekend, but based on what I saw then and what I heard, I thought, I want to be in on this conversation. I want to be a part of the conversation about this music that these two musicians are making. I think I can help provide some information about what exactly they're doing. And I want to be in, y'all, because it's fascinating stuff and it really just gets in your bones. So what is the fascination? What is the fascination with this duo? What really is driving this? They're making use of microtones, friends. They're not the first rock and roll ish musicians to explore microtonal sounds. This has been around for quite a long time, kind of on the edges of experimentation. And yeah, even it came to mind last weekend. King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizards. They have done a whole album of microtonal rock music, so it's not brand new, but somehow their vibe, their sounds, their look, their timing, it seems to have caught a wave of energy, of fascination, of excitement in what they're up to. And I've heard it from people around the world. So here's what I want to do, friends. I'm not going to listen to the entire KEXP, that performance that was recorded back last December, I believe. That's a bit long. I do want to share Sarniezz, even though I've heard it, because there's a few things in there that I remember hearing that I think I can speak to. Okay, then I do want to hear another one of their songs. So I am going to go to Sherpa, which was a single that they released back in 2024. So let's listen to it, y'all, and see what the buzz is all about. Like I said, I feel like I'm late to the party on this because a whole lot of YouTube reactors especially have been on this before me. So I hope that I can say something that's interesting to y'all if you've seen a bunch of these, but we're going to go through it and I'm going to try to explain a little bit about what they're doing. Okay, so their performing pseudonyms are Angine de Poitrine, who is on guitar and bass and microtonal instruments and on electronics, and then Kleck is on the drums. They are just doing instrumentals. There's no vocals. So let's get right into it, y'all. This is Angine de Poitrine, and this is a live performance of Sarniezz. Here we go. I practiced hard on the name of the band, y'all. I don't do French very well. So they're in 12/8. So those, it's a chromatic scale. But they're using scale steps that are smaller than a half step. They're using quarter tones, microtones. And really, it's common practice. It's based on E minor and it's lowered 7th, D. But the melodic contours that they're using go even smaller than our normal half step. Great way to mix it up. And because the bones of it are on kind of common practice rock and roll chords, it comes off as like microtonal punk to me. Experimental punk music. And the looping allows the bass to be going and then playing on the guitar strings. And the vibe, the costume, it's just cool as shit, isn't it? Really small steps. this is helpful. It breaks up the monotony, the rest of the stuff of the piece. The form is very good. So it's not a gimmick. It's just part of their musical language. The songwriting is solid. So that's just an E minor. Woo!
Discover new music at listener-powered kexp.org.
We'll keep that in there for KEXP. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Isn't that cool? It's just the coolest thing. So here's what I was thinking, y'all. I mean, what is it about that music that's really breaking through right now in the first quarter of 2026? I think it's a reaction to kind of where the musical world has been going. And, you know, in a world of increasing AI overload, here comes something that's truly human, a truly human creation. The costuming, the live aspect of the performance, it's raw, it's in the cracks, just like humans are, you know? So what do I mean by in the cracks? We have in our octave, I'll use their E's. In our octave, we have divided that into 12 equal steps. This frequency from E to that E is a doubling of the frequency. Whenever we double a frequency, we pop out an octave. And between that, we can divide 12 equal steps and we get our chromatic scale. Right? Now, when I was growing up and first learning music, what did we get told? The whole step is a half step and another half step, right? So 2 half steps equals a whole step, and then the half step is the smallest interval, right? Which is a lie. It's a lie. We know it's a lie, right? It's the smallest interval within equal temperament, but it's not the smallest interval that exists. We've all heard things that are out of tune, things that are in the cracks. The piano that you come up to a piano, like, oh, nice piano. And it's just all out of tune. I'm using the modulator thing over here, but it's in tune as it's modulating. So I can't recreate like the sound of an old tinny piano where the strings are out of tune. Any string player, guitar or otherwise, with your tuning pegs, you know there's a multitude of tones that are between a half step, right? So when I was in college and we were struggling with going flat, going out of key, our conductor started quizzing us and getting us to warm up on quarter tones instead of just half steps and whole steps in regular scales. Like I would take that E and I can go yum, pum, pum. That's a half step, but I can go between them. Ya dee da dee. Right? There's a quarter step, quarter step, quarter step, quarter step. and so on. So you have ya da 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 dum. It's not just, it's da 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 and so on, right? I can't really do it on the piano with the modulator button. I can a little bit, but it moves it too much. If I do the modulator all the way down, it moves it a whole tone. It's so interesting, right? So really what they're doing is using quarter tones to do their music. They are taking an interval that is half of a half step and using it in a chromatic scale. When they're going to come up to that E, ya da 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 ba dee da dum. It doesn't quite sound like that. It starts kind of on a D, ya da da dum da dum. There's too many notes that they want to use moving up in that rhythm and that melody to get to the E than there are on a regular tuned keyboard. So they've got to use a guitar that's got extra frets in it that allows them to really crack that space to go directly halfway between E flat and E and get us E quarter flat, E half flat. We also have what's called 3/4 sharps, quarter sharps in our notation that we can actually notate this stuff for people to do that have instruments that can do these sorts of things, that can play like this. Fascinating, isn't it? And as far as why all of the attention is happening now for a band like this, when other bands have done similar sounds, have made use of microtonal stuff previously, I really do think it's a combination of that AI overload and, hey, only a human could have come up with that. Come on now. And it seems authentic to us. It seems fresh. And it really does pop out, right? I think the other thing that's got it going for it is timing itself, friends. I think that our long-term exposure to what our grandfathers would call mild dissonance, we've now assimilated those types of sounds. Major seconds, added ninth chords, added sixth chords, suspended chords, sus chords, those sorts of sounds, mild dissonances. Those now sound not as dissonances to us, but almost as mild consonances instead of mild dissonances. We come up with, when we have a C major chord, right, that note, if I add it together with the C, that's a major second. It's a mild dissonance in tonal music theory, but we hear it, we just think buttery, right? We do a suspended chord maybe. All those are suspended chords. And so on, right? But we hear that second, and we hear it as a mild dissonance. You could have a chord with an added sixth. It's a mild dissonance to include that G against that A. But we hear it now more as a mild consonance than as a dissonance. And as a result of that, we can really start to retrain our brains to what is a dissonance and what isn't. It allows for exploration that goes beyond the simple half step as the smallest interval, right? Take, for instance, Angine de Poitrine. They're doing quarter tones. They're taking the half step in strategic places. They're not doing it all over the place. and they're just using half of a half step and still landing on like an E minor 7th sonority and then using a D major sonority as its flat 7 as the temp poles that harmonically support them. But the quarter tones are moving rhythmically, and we're using some of those tones in how we solo and further add to that that sound. Fascinating, right? I want to get to another song. This one I haven't heard yet. And let's see what they're doing this time. It's called Sherpa, and it's from Angine de Poitrine. Here we go.
Apprécie les avantages qu'apporte ce mode de construction. Par exemple, son confort thermique. La maison reste fraîche en été et garde la chaleur l'hiver.
Is that a shoe? They're doing like syncopated. I hope that's not some evil sign. I need that hat. I think I drew that hat in middle school. Yeah, I hear the beat. Because of that dada at the end. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and little funky half step action there. Cool. So they're both reinforcing that syncopated rhythm against the natural beat. It just keeps it untethered. Barefoot. There's the beat. So this is based around A. A little bit of an Eastern scale in there too. They're using flat 2 and major 3. Such an interesting vibe. Nice. It's danceable music. I get up on the floor, groove to this. liked the build-up. Now that they're in this, I'm waiting for them to do a contrasting thing. Kind of goes back to that Eastern scale. Should have brought my pipe earlier on for this, right? Yeah. Crunchy. So now he's looping the guitar and free flowing on the bass. I thought they were going to go back into the 4. They're keeping it syncopated. Looping even more.
Discover new music at listener-powered kexp.org.
It's just astounding stuff, isn't it? It's so fresh and raw and human and interesting and fun. It's everything that the world seems to be in short supply of right now, you know? And I think that's really what is drawing people here. Like, yes, we'll take some of that. Thank you. That was that was a fun 30 minutes. Yeah, thank you. We appreciate you. We'll come see you live. We want to spend a whole evening with y'all and enjoy your vibe. And you're going to get your chance, friends. They are really making a go of things this year. Their touring schedule looks outrageous. They've got, by my count, 50 plus dates all over Canada, especially where they're from. They're also going to hit Europe, and they've got a few dates in America. I believe it's the first time that they will be performing in America. And already, as I see on their tour site here, a majority of these shows are already showing as sold out. So act fast if you want to spend an evening with Angine de Poitrine. Check it out, friends. I know they'll be coming to the East Coast. I'll have to see if I can get something to wear, to cosplay, and to join the vibe. Maybe they need a keyboard player. I'll do interpretive dance too. I really don't care, friends. That's just so fun. So like I said, I've seen other reactors, including these folks. People have been asking me about it now for a few weeks. I'm kind of big ship. I've got a whole lot of things going, and sometimes it takes me a bit of time to take out one thing and put in something new. So I did it. I'm glad that I did it. I'm hoping that y'all found my discussion of the quarter tones to be helpful in understanding what they're up to. And with that, friends, I believe I will call it a day and a week here on the channel. A crazy week here, and we finished out with a masterpiece of some crazy music, didn't we? It was really, really fun. So we have heard, and I think this is the correct pronunciation, Sarniezz and Sherpa from the duo Canadian experimental microtonal punk fusion band named Angine de Poitrine. Thank y'all for being with me. We'll see you next week on another edition of the Daily Doug.
It's the Daily Doug. Welcome to the Daily Doug. The Daily